Hi guys, and welcome to another Bootstrap 4 video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignertechtips.com. Well, in our last video we created some animations and we were using this animate script to make things animate when they come into view here. I found a nice little bit of code. Let's add a bit of sort of hero type text that's really eye-catching. If I take you over there, here it is. It's on CodePen and it's by Robert Borghese. I hope I got his name right there. And it's got this nice little almost parallax sort of type effect. When you move your mouse anywhere on the screen, the image behind that text sort of moves around. It's really nice. They've got all the code for us here to use, which is great. Here's the HTML and the CSS, a bit of SCSS here as well, some of which we'll not need, but we'll go through that in a moment. And here's a bit of JavaScript, which is making this mouse sort of movement effect happen. So I thought it'd be nice to have something like that, perhaps just below our slider here, or you could even have it in your hero section. So let's go ahead and open brackets. This is the brackets text editor. It's free and you can download it from a link below this site. Here's our index.html file we've been working on. We're using on-page CSS for this particular page. We've only got the one page going on, so we've got that within our style brackets here at the top of our page. There's our slider. Sorry, there's our nav. Here's our slider. Just below that, we've got those little sections that are using that AnyView and animate scripts to move. So let's see what we need to do. Let's go back and take a look. It's a pretty simple div right there. Let's just copy this. And back to our index.html. So we've got a section there. That's our nice carousel. Here's those things underneath. I'm going to change this. I'm just going to make this a div. Don't know, as default, they made this something called main, which is something I don't use. I'm sure they have their reasons for it. But so I'm going to make that div, and there's the closing div right there. And I'm going to encase all of that in a section of its own. So let's start a section. And let's just copy that because I'll use this top section for our new hero text that we're going to put in there. And the second one here I'll use to encase this other section. Control X to cut and paste that closing section tag. I don't need that container text right there. Right there. And let's just move this along, tidy it up. Get rid of any unnecessary gaps. There we go. Very nice. Okay, so inside here, inside this section right here, I'm going to paste that code that I just copied. And I'll have to copy it again because Control Z to undo. Of course, I just copied that section tag. So let's just copy this. Left click, drag, and then Control C. Back to the site. Let's get where we want to get. And Control V to paste. There we go. And let's just tidy this up and get it in line. Tab, tab across. Okay, that's good. So now we've got a section. We've got this inner container. Let's give this container another name. Let's just call it, say, TX for text, because that way we can target it with our own CSS. So we've copied the HTML there. That's good. Now, if we go back, let's see. I'm going to copy this CSS. I'm going to grab it all, and then we'll go through it and decide what we want to keep and what we don't. Back to the site, and let's put this with our styles up here. And I'll give it a little title. I keep referring to it as hero text, but I guess because it's below our carousel, it's not really a hero section, but I'm still going to call it that. Whoops. Well, that's okay, but I didn't really want to do that. I'm talking and typing. Okay. There's our title. Drop down and let's put in that bit of CSS there. There we go. And again, we'll just have to tab it over to tidy it up. That should do it. Okay, let's see what we've got here. That's the actual centering the text there, so I don't need that. This is importing the font that it's using, so I'll keep that. Here's HTML. I don't need that because that's saying 100% width and height, so we can get rid of that. Body. Here's the body background. Okay. I'm going to change that. That section ID. Did we give it? Here it is. Let's give our section an ID so we can target it. And we'll say hero text, so HTX for hero text. Obviously call yours whatever you want. And where it says body there, I'm going to change that to hashtag because it's an ID, not a class. And it's HText. Background color, I'm just going to make it a sort of light grey color. They've got a gradient going on here. By all means, keep it if you want to. Well, I'll leave it for the time being. We'll change that in a minute. Margin, don't need that. Width and height, we don't need that. We do need the font family because it's telling it to be that railway text that they've got going on here. Container, don't need that because that's built into Bootstrap anyway. Title, yeah, we can keep that because that's the H1 tag. Well, I think it was H1. That's basically the big writing at the top. Oh, it's just title tag. And subtitle there, so we'll need title and subtitle. We can change that as we need it. So good. Very good. Okay. Just save that. And last but not least, of course, we need the JavaScript to make it all happen. Which is right here. Copy all of that. Left click drag, Control C to copy. Let's go back to our index.html. Just like with our other scripts, we're going to put it down at the bottom. Now we could create a separate JavaScript file for this and have it pull it in because we've got quite a few things going on here, but let's see if it works. Perhaps I'll do that in another video. So let's open some script tags because it's a script, so we need to put it inside some script tags. There we go. Separate them and we'll paste that bit of script we just copied inside. And again, I'm just going to tab it over. There we go. See, this is dictating what the mouse movements, how it's affecting the background position of the image that's behind that text. So let's save that. Let's go back to our site and see what we've actually got now. If we refresh, should have a section in here. May not look quite as we want it right now, but we'll see. There we go. There's that section. As you can see, as I move my mouse, that image behind the text there is moving nicely. So we've got just about everything working kind of like we want it here. But I need to give this div a bit more height. And I believe I'll give it a background color. It's got a gradient on it there, but you can barely see it. It's so sort of subtle, and subtle's great, but not what I want right here. And so we'll change our text. We'll give it a bit more height, and we'll wrap it inside a div. We'll give the div a column. So let's go back and see how we can do that. Okay, so here's our container. Here's our section. First, let's give our section a bit of padding top and bottom, and give it a background color that we can actually see. Something quite subtle again, but something that you can definitely see. And of course, we want to change our text to something that we want to put in there. So let's go back up here. Here's our section. There's the background linear gradient. I'm just going to give it a color. And the color I quite often use is EEE, which is a kind of light gray. And when you're using white backgrounds, it's a nice little extra section that just stands out a little bit more. And let's give it some padding top and bottom of say 100 pixels, so it's got a bit of height to it. We'll give top, bottom, left and right, so I'll just do one attribute. 10 pkx ain't gonna do anything. 100 pix will do everything. And those of you who watch my videos before, one attribute is going to be top, 100 top, 100 right, 100 bottom, 100 left. 2 would be 100 top, bottom, and whatever the second one is would be the left and right. And of course you can do individuals. Okay, so that's fine. Just save that and see what difference it's made to our section here. Should be a lot deeper, and it should have a light grey colour behind it now. There we go. That's pretty much what I wanted right there. I mean, we could break that up into 2 lines. Thanks, Robert, for the code, but I don't want your name on there. Let's put in something that we want there. So if we just go back to our HTML, scroll down to where it is. Here it is. Let's say Bootstrap. My spelling is atrocious. Bootstrap. I don't know, something like awesomeness. And here, I guess we'll put something like HTML5 plus CSS3. And as usual, don't just copy what I'm doing. Put in your own thing, make it your own. jQuery, JavaScript, design, code, equals cool. Like I say, I've not put a lot of thought into that. And I might put a break between those 2 words. It might naturally break. We'll see what goes on. So Control S to save. Let's go back to the site and check it out now. There we go. It's broken it up. That's okay. That's great. I think for me, I think those letters are slightly too close. That S is touching that E there. As they are there. I mean, you might like that. You can see the image well behind that when you move your mouse around and stuff. And there's that little subtitle that we put in there. Let's just give that text spacing a little bit more. So let's go back to our HTML and see what they've got. They've probably got some in their CSS that we copied over here. And it'll be in the title, I should think. Font size back. line spacing, -8 pixels. Well, let's say take that down. So that's tightening it up by -8 pixels. So let's put that down to say 3 pixels and see if that makes any difference. And refresh. A little bit, they're not touching there. I think that'll do it. Obviously play around with it, make it your own. Don't have to use this Railway font, use whatever font you want. This is actually being pulled in from Google. See, it's importing it. Railway. And we've got the 400, the 800 and the 900 weight wise. So good, I'm fairly happy with that. What else do we want it to do? Not a whole lot really. Let's just add one of our animation classes to it so it animates like the rest of the site. We'll do this very quickly, just copy some code off from another section. So here we go. We use the AnyView, slide in right. I want that whole thing. Make sure I got that last inverted comma there. Control C, copy, and let's put this in our title. Make sure we got a space there, and I've got 2 inverted commas there. That's why it's erroring out. So let's get rid of that one there because we only want one on the end. So that's going to slide in right, and let's do the same thing for this one. I'll delete that. There we go, that way I don't have a double on the end. Okay, and we'll say slide in left for this one. And we want to make sure that our scripts are still working for everything else down below. Taking down left. See, we've done things slightly different here. Okay, let's get rid of this. I'm working on the stuff below here at the moment, and I'm just going to make them consistent. Well, in fact, the easiest way, let's just copy this one and replace the one that we're working on here. There we go. That way we've got that AnyView already in there. We'll say left or up. Let's make it up. It doesn't matter. And we've got to make sure this is still going to work. Okay. We've got to make sure this is still going to work with everything else. So let's save that. Control S. And what I was working on, I was just working on this little one right here because it didn't have an animation on it. So let's refresh. It's okay, that slid in nicely. And if we move down, make sure those things are going to animate for us. Yeah, up, left, right, up, down. So yeah, everything seems to be working fine there. Did that one slide in left? Let's have up instead. I didn't notice it. I guess I was looking at the other one too much. And if you want to see what I'm doing here, go back and watch our earlier videos of that animate and also the AnyView, the 2 videos previous to this that we set these up. Control S, back to the site. Let's have another look. Yeah, it did. That's fine. And our slider's still working there, our little bouncy ball thing's working there. There's a lot going on here. Probably a little too much for any one site, but just a good demonstration of how things can work. And again, these are still animating when they come into view. So there you go. There's how to add some nice hero text to your Bootstrap 4 website. That'll of course work with any HTML website. Once again, this has been Jamie from System 22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, please like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're interested in web development, take one of our courses below. We've got some great free courses. And there's also some premium courses down there with some huge discounts for our YouTube subscribers. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.